Welcome to the 24th floor. I'm Richard Denson alongside Ruben Diaz. Now, after Summer League in Salt Lake City and Las Vegas, we've got our first real look at the new era of Memphis basketball. They haven't quite put a name on it, Ruben. Cam Boozer said, we're not the next gen. Don't call us that. That's the last generation.
Yeah, Cam Boozer and them looked like the player that the Grizzlies thought they were going to get, which is to be expected. Very consistent, very consistent, very consistent. Cedric Coward had some strong moments as well, but overall, there's still a lot to see as far as how that young team continues to develop.
Yeah, the biggest story was about the organization's approach. Memphis wasn't just developing players for Summer League, they were trying to win. So to help us sort through what we learned and what it means heading into training camp, we welcome back the co-host of the Locked On Grizzlies podcast, Joe Mullinax. Joe, it's always good to have you on, my friend.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. It's always good to be on the 24th floor. You know what I'm saying? It's a good place to be.
We all in the family, all in the Tegna family, you know. So one thing that I want to say about Summer League, I know you tweeted about it, was the fact that the Grizzlies had more guys who've seen NBA minutes than other teams. So that probably explains why they've tried to win. Were you disappointed overall that they couldn't bring home a Summer League title against the Warriors, just seeing that most of those guys actually have logged NBA minutes or are expected to log big-time NBA minutes?
No, I could care less about whether or not they won the Summer League title. It would have been cool, don't get me wrong. It's always fun to make jokes about parades on Beale Street for Summer League championships. And I'm happy that they went for it, right? Because I have noted on Locked On Grizzlies, I know other folks have talked about it elsewhere, it seems like an organizational shift, right? Like this is a situation where a first-team All-NBA rookie player and the number 3 pick in the 2026 NBA draft played multiple back-to-backs in this Summer League. They played a lot of basketball, and that's not the way this organization has moved the last several years. So it seems like it's not just we're moving on from John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. in terms of personnel. We're moving on from the way that we used to do things. We are changing how we're going about our business, and it was a breath of fresh air for me. So obviously losing 28-14 in the fourth quarter, falling apart when you had a 10-point lead, that's not something that you celebrate, of course, but the fact that they went after it, the fact they competed, the fact that you had these leaders of whatever this next generation is going to be, and that name, it needs to be organic, right? Like there's so many things through history that they didn't call themselves the Byzantine Empire or, those sorts of things, during that time. It's the after the fact, it's the organicness of it. Let them kind of find their own identity. And I think that they laid a solid start of a foundation in Summer League. The identity is going to be guys that want to hoop, guys that love basketball, that are ball knowers, that are competitive. I think that's a pretty solid way to get started in terms of whatever this next generation of Grizzlies basketball is going to be.
Joe, you kind of alluded to it, but you kind of expect there to have an inability to win close games right now. They just got too much youth. And it's Summer League, so there's youth out there for everybody. So it's just kind of a matter of who messes up the least, right, in the Summer League to give you a chance to win. But overall, were you impressed with what you saw from the Grizzlies from top to bottom?
Absolutely. I think that both Boozer and Coward, obviously they were named to the All-NBA Summer League team, so they played pretty well. I loved what Javon Small did. One of my focuses going into Summer League was Small versus Clayton Jr. and who's going to be that third point guard long-term. Clayton Jr. didn't play at all, and Javon Small took advantage of those minutes. He was one of the most productive Summer League players, not just in Memphis, but in the entire Summer League. So I think that Walter Clayton Jr. will still get his opportunity, but that race, Javon Small is out in front, to say the least, right now. I was impressed with Olivier Maxence Prosper. This is a guy who has taken advantage of his opportunity in Memphis. A solid, second or third draft kind of guy in terms of it didn't work out where he was. Now he's with the Grizzlies and he's making the most of these chances. I thought that he did some really impressive things. And Taylor Hendricks showed flashes too. He's always kind of the forgotten man in these big man conversations when we talk about this roster. I think that he showed that he's going to be in the conversation. Is he going to beat out Zach Edey or Isaiah Stewart or even the rookies even like a Kareem Lopez? We'll have to see. Obviously, it's not going to happen with those bigger veteran names. But I am intrigued by the young talent on this roster. They have set it themselves up for an iron sharpens iron kind of situation, where it's going to be outside of Cameron Boozer and to a lesser degree Cedric Howard and Zach Edey. Who knows who's going to be the starter? None of these guys have really earned the right to claim anything, and that's not a bad thing. There is no hierarchy at this stage. It kind of can establish itself by on-court play, and that's kind of the way it's supposed to be, isn't it?
Yeah, so Joe, I kind of want to put you on the spot because you threw out a lot of names. My biggest takeaway out of this is the Grizzlies have a real deal roster crunch where you got maybe 19 guys on the roster, and some guys kind of improved their stock with this summer league where you got some tough decisions. Coming out of this summer league, if you had to look at the roster kind of how it is, who would you expect some guys who probably are going to be on the outs? Because you mentioned Taylor Hendricks, but then I'm looking at this roster and looking at the big men they got, and I still don't feel like he's done enough where he's considered safe. I think, like you said, of course, safe. Boozer, safe. Javon Small, yes, safe. But who do you think doesn't make the cut? I think guys like Hendricks are probably going to be out, and I think a guy like Omax might be on the fence, especially with Carson Cooper playing as well as he did. Now he is into the conversation, and we didn't even think that he was going to be in the conversation.
See, for me, I am of the mind that you have veteran players and guys like Ty Jerome. You have Jeremy Grant. We glance and gloss over these two, especially Grant. Like Grant was the throw-in the Ja Morant trade. Mm-hmm. Is Ja Morant better than Jeremy Grant when Ja Morant is playing and active and doing the things he's supposed to do, which has happened inconsistently the last 3 years? Yes, but Jeremy Grant's still a good basketball player. I think he averaged 18 points a game this past season on the Blazers. This is a guy that can score the ball. Same thing with Jerome. You have veterans in place that can be good role models for these guys that are your younger players. So I'm coming at it from a different perspective. I'm not waiving a single guy that played in Summer League. I'm saying goodbye to D'Angelo Russell. I'm saying goodbye to Taj Gibson. I'm trying to work out a trade to make money work, traded player exception kind of things. If it doesn't work out, I'm buying out Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Give me these young guys that are in a position, that are hungry, that want to go out and be a part of a team that if they make the play-in, if the Grizzlies are a play-in team this coming season, heck yeah, they're going to be fired up about that because of where the team was, whereas Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has won an NBA championship. D'Angelo Russell has been a veteran in the league for a long time. Taj Gibson is older than me, and I'm really old. Look at my hair. Like the fact that these guys, I'm cool with them being around, but if I'm having to pick between Taylor Hendricks and Taj Gibson, if I'm having to pick between an Olivier Maxence Prosper and a D'Angelo Russell, that's an easy choice. I don't see those guys being on this roster. I think they want to take an extended look at these younger talents that they have with the understanding that Ty Jerome and Jeremy Grant, to a lesser extent Isaiah Stewart. Stewart's been around the league for a while. You've got guys in a place that can be those veteran presences when necessary. I think I'm going in the opposite direction. I'm getting rid of some of these older guys and saying, you go find another spot in the NBA.
That's very well leaning into the going younger, changing it all. The NBA, I always tell people the NBA is a young man's league, right? Like that's the league where you can be young and be great, whereas the NFL, veteran leadership and veteran status carries more weight. So to your point, real quick, I know you want to get to your rapid fire. What's one thing that you saw from the Summer League that concerns you about the Grizzlies? That you're like, man, we got to tighten this up and we'll be really good.
I think that it's just a personnel question, right? And I do think some of this will be solved when it's a Cam Boozer as a point forward kicking out to an open Jeremy Grant or Ty Jerome as opposed to Jemai Mashak. And I love Jemai Mashak. I think that's another guy I want to see stick around on a two-way contract. I think there's value, and you see so much growth in his offensive game. But I think it's just not letting the failure of that Summer League championship, I don't want that to make people sour on the young talent that this Grizzlies team has, because once they get to the NBA level and they have a Zach Edey, imagine Zach Edey next to Cameron Boozer. Like that is going to be a phenomenal front court to watch. And again, if you're going to triple team Cam Boozer, like happened on numerous occasions in Summer League, kicking out to Ty Jerome, who's one of the best shooters in the NBA, or Jeremy Grant, who is still a very good three-point shooter, Cameron Boozer was the number one option in Summer League. Cedric Howard was a guy that was a target in Summer League for understandable reasons. The talent level is going to rise. So it's not so much nervous or disappointed as much as it is anxious to see those guys alongside the guys that are actually going to be playing those NBA minutes with them.
Joe, I think you hit the nail on the head, and that is why I was okay with Said playing Summer League. I know Ruben was like, if he was that, he wouldn't be in Summer League, but I think seeing that, how those two play together gives the Grizzlies a lot to think about going into training camp, and I think the last piece of the puzzle is Zach Edey, because in essence, that is the big three for now, is Boozer, Coward, and Edey. All right, so rapid fire real quick. Biggest surprise of Summer League?
Biggest surprise of Summer League would probably be the play of Jemai Mashak, how he's really coming along as a point guard. I didn't think he really had that in him, to be honest, and I think it's a smart pivot for him to try to find a spot in the NBA.
Biggest disappointment?
Biggest disappointment would probably be the lack of playing time for Kareem Lopez and Walter Clayton Jr. I really wanted to see more, especially out of Clayton Jr.
You may have touched on this already, but biggest question left unanswered?
Biggest question left unanswered is, what is Cedric Coward going to be? Is he going to be a 2? Is he going to be a 3? And if we live in a positionless NBA, I understand that, but I really like the idea of a tall 2 guard, and I'm hopeful he can be that. So hopefully they're leaning into that, what his position is.
And last one, if I told you before the Summer League the Grizz would reach the championship game, but Cam Boozer wouldn't dominate the highlight reels, would you still consider it a success?
Yes, I think the Grizzlies are in the business of trying to learn how to win in this new era, and obviously they fell short of the ultimate goal, but they made it to the championship game, and they invested themselves in something that was worth pursuing in their opinion. And after watching a whole bunch of tanking basketball, fellas, I'm all for that.
Yep, 100%.
All right, Joe, we appreciate you. You can always catch your good work on the Locked On Grizz podcast, which you can catch right here on 24+. But, Joe, that's all the time we got for you. We'll catch you next time, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Yep, see you around.
All right, the WNBA reaches its midseason showcase this weekend. Who's been the biggest surprise? Who's the MVP? What teams are poised to make a run after the break? We'll break it all down right here on the 24th floor.